Hello everybody and welcome to the U.S. History Unit 5 Modified Test recording. In this recording I'm going to be reading the test questions and the answer options to you and giving you a couple of reminders as you get ready to take your test. One of the biggest reminders that I want to give you is that your test is located over here in the blue navigation bar. It should say 511 Unit 5 test with the abbreviation MOD for modified after it. That is the version of the test that you should have. Should you see a test that does not have MOD at the end of it, please make sure that you contact me and that I correct that for you. That's the version you should be taking. Okay, when you open up your test, your version of the test should give you a couple reminders as you click into it before you start. It's going to remind you to make sure that you're saving your answers as you go, and then when you finish that you submit for grading. This question has 26 multiple choice questions in it, and each multiple choice question should have 3 answer options. If it has 4, you may be in the wrong version of the test. Again, make sure that you are only using the modified version as listed up here. Okay. The last question is a essay question, question 27, and we'll read through that when we get to the end of the question. Okay. Remember that as you're taking the test, you can pause this as you're working, so I can read it to you as you go. You can rewind or fast forward, whatever you need to be able to use my reading of the questions to your greatest advantage. Okay. All right, let's get started with our first question. Number 1, what did a sense of optimism and their religious beliefs encourage many Americans to do during the early 19th century? Accept the flaws in society, start missionary work overseas, or work in social reform movements? Number 2, which leader was not a part of the abolitionist movement? Again, we're looking for the one which was not part of the abolitionist movement. Frederick Douglass, William Lloyd Garrison, or Robert Owen? Number 3, what was Horace Mann's goal as a reformer in the 19th century? To establish a system of religious schools so that the Christian message would be consistent, to establish a system of public schools that he felt were necessary in a democracy, or to create a system of private schools that would be affordable for most citizens. Number 4, which educator wanted to reform prisons and provide for the mentally ill? Harriet Beecher Stowe, Dorothea Dix, or Harriet Tubman? Number 5, what was a major obstacle for Emma Willard's efforts to reform education? Many people felt that education was harmful or unimportant for girls. Her senators refused to take action in Congress, or public financing was not available because of the Panic of 1837. Number 6, what was the goal of the temperance movement? To improve people's spirits, to reduce or eliminate alcohol consumption, or to help people during difficult financial times? Number 7, which was expected of women in the early 19th century? Obeying their husbands, teaching their daughters reading and math, or helping their husbands make economically sound decisions? Number 8, what is the speaker in this quote advocating? If you do not know what the term advocating means, you may need to look that up to determine the answer for this question. And the quote says, "It was we, the people, not we, the white male citizens, nor yet we, the male citizens, but we, the whole people, who formed the Union." So was this advocating voting for all blacks, women's rights, or the abolition of slavery? Number 9, what was the purpose of the Seneca Falls Declaration of Sentiments? To state the case for women's rights? To explain to New Yorkers why women should get the vote? Or to declare the emotional issues behind women's rights? Number 10, why were some women opposed to the idea of women's rights? They felt voting was something only white men should do. They believed that men were the superior sex, or all of the above. Number 11, which statement best explains the concept of manifest destiny? The idea that it was God's plan for the nation to expand across the continent? The belief that fate controlled what would happen to the United States? The trust that political solutions were usually possible. Number 12, how did mountain men and fur traders help open up the Pacific Northwest to settlement? They established missionaries along the major rivers of the region. They blazed trails through the Rockies and other difficult terrain, or they formed commercial ventures that escorted settlers across the mountains. Number 13, which trail served as a major trade route from the Missouri River to the Rio Grande? Santa Fe Trail, the Houston Trail, or the Tucson Trail? Number 14, what was the experience of the Mormons as they traveled from the Midwest through the South Pass and into the Salt Lake Basin? The journey was surprisingly easy. They had a difficult journey through barren lands, or they discovered a new passage that improved travel. Number 15, what did President James Polk hope to gain as a result of provoking a war with Mexico? Control of the Rio Grande, additional territory including California and New Mexico, or support from the Native Americans in the Southwest? What action did President Polk take that resulted in the war between the United States and Mexico? He refused to return Mexican land that had been turned over by Santa Anna. He tricked General Santa Anna into bringing troops across the U.S. border, or he sent General Zachary Taylor to claim an area of disputed land for the United States. Number 17, which was not part of the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo that ended the Mexican-American War in 1848. The United States received New Mexico, Mexico received $15 million, or the Nueces River became the border between Mexico and Texas. Again, remember in this question, you're looking for which one was not part of the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. Number 18, what brought thousands of people to California in 1848 to 1849? Was it the discovery of gold, war with Spain, or religious missions? In number 19, you're looking for the correct group. Which group describes results of the California Gold Rush of 1848 to 1849? Was a result that food was scarce, disease was widespread, the population became diverse, and levies were invented? Or was it more of Group B, most miners found gold, California collected new taxes, the Spanish missions gained donations, and wranglers were invented? Group A or Group B? What does the red line identify? So this red line right here on the map, coming from the Midwest all the way up to the Northwest, was that the Santa Fe Trail, the Colorado River, or the Oregon Trail? Number 21, which letters identify territories that were ceded to the United States as part of the settlement of the Mexican-American War? Again, for this question, if you do not know what the word ceded means, you may have to look that up to be able to determine what the answer is for this question. Is it B and C, A and G, or A and D? Which letter identifies territory that was first settled by a religious group led by Brigham Young? B, D, or E? Letter B, letter D, or letter E? President James K. Polk fulfilled a significant campaign promise during his presidency. What was it? Securing extended rights for women, expanding the size of the United States, or achieving peace with Mexico? Number 24, what role did Stephen Austin play in the settlement of Texas by American colonists? He convinced American colonists in Texas to declare their independence from Mexico. He received a large land grant and brought in 300 American families to settle in the region. Or the last option, he helped the Mexican government win their independence from Spain. Number 25, what actions by the Mexican government increased tensions between it and American colonists living in Texas? Abolishing slavery in Mexico and restricting immigration from the United States, allowing religious freedom and conscription of American colonists into the Mexican army. Oh, let me start this one over. So, abolishing slavery in Mexico and restricting immigration from the United States. The second option, allowing religious freedom and conscription of American colonists into the Mexican army. Or the third option, declaring war on the United States and arresting Stephen Austin. Number 26, what were most Northerners opposed to in the annexation of Texas? They did not want another slaveholding state admitted to the Union. They believed that Texas would draw their labor force away from the North, or they did not believe the United States should expand beyond its current borders. Number 27 is your essay question. And here in the bottom part of the test, it will say number 27, review pages 386 to 387 in your textbook. You may also review the website on page 9 of lesson 508. And we gave the website here, the link for you as well. Imagine that you are a 49er in California, hoping to strike it rich and discover gold. Write a letter home to your family explaining what you found when you arrived to California. Include 2 positive and 2 negative facts in your letter. When you write your answer, make sure to use complete sentences. Give supporting details, include accurate information, and make sure that you're providing page numbers for where you found the information in the textbook. Information from any other source besides the textbook or the PBS website given here will not be accepted. You could click here to download a paper version of the question, and there's also a note chart so that you can organize your thoughts before you begin to write your response. This will help you kind of keep track of making sure that you've included everything you need for the essay. This also has a rubric to show you how the essay will be graded, so I highly recommend you click here to see that document. Once you're typing your answer into the test, make sure to use your spell checker and look for any other grammatical errors that there might be. So for this test, a total of 26 questions for multiple choice and 1 essay question at the end. Good luck on your test, and as always, please make sure before you finish your test to submit for grading after saving answers as you work your way through. Contact me with any questions that you may have. Good luck.